Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick, and in this video we're going to be comparing the Asics Superblast and the Hoka Mach X. So the Asics Superblast and the Hoka Mach X are both shoes that fit into the category of super trainers. One has a plate, the Hoka Mach X, the Superblast doesn't, but it does have a very high stack of Asics' best foam. Superblast is the more expensive shoe. It costs £195 or $200, whereas the Hoka Mach X is £160 or $180. Superblast, the lighter shoe, is 251 grams or 8.8 ounces in my UK size 9, whereas the Hoka Mach X is 265 grams or 9.3 ounces in the same UK size. That's despite the fact the Superblast has a very high stack. It tops out at 45.5 millimeters at the heel and has an 8 millimeter drop, whereas the Hoka Mach X has a 5 millimeter drop and a stack height of 39 millimeters in the heel in the men's shoe and 37 millimeters in the women's shoe. Looking at the Superblast, you've got a lightweight mesh upper, a little bit of padding around the heel, and then you've got a dual density midsole with a very thick layer of Asics' FF Turbo foam, the same bouncy stuff you get on the Metaspeed series, and there's a thinner layer of FF Blast Plus foam underneath that. You've got sidewalls of foam, an internal heel count, and a pretty wide design, all to try and create stability given the high stack height of the shoe. And then you've got a rubber outsole with fairly minimal coverage, but all the key impact areas on the bottom of the shoe are covered. With the Mach X, you've got a Creole Jacquard mesh upper with a little bit of padding around the back of the shoe to increase its comfort for daily training. The ProFly X dual density midsole has a top layer of Peba foam over a bottom layer of EVA foam, and the shoe has a Pebax plate running through the middle of it with Hoka's usual Meta Rocker design. There's also sidewalls of foam on the Mach X, and it's got a reasonably wide base, again, to create stability, despite the fact you're dealing with soft foams and high stacks here. The Mach X has a rubber outsole with pretty good coverage, which marks it out from the previous shoes we've seen in the Mach series, which have just had rubberized EVA outsoles. All right, I'm joined by Tom now, and we're going to talk about the fit of these two shoes first. Tom, do these shoes fit?
They do fit, and they fit fine. The Superblast, yeah, it's I'm a size 8 in the Superblast. It fits very comfortably. It's quite plush for what I would expect from a shoe like this, super trainer. And yeah, I've had no issues at all. I definitely stay to my UK size 8. And then the Hoka Mach X, I had no issues with that before. I'd probably say it's a bit narrower than the Superblast, but I didn't have any issues at all. I'd still stay in my size 8 in this shoe as well.
Fair enough, yes. I've got my normal UK size 9 in both shoes. They do it slightly differently. With Asics, a UK 9 is a US 10, and with Hoka, it's a US 9.5. In general, the Hoka, I think, is a little bit more cramped and narrow, but I have a narrow foot. That suits me fine. Both shoes I've had a completely fine fit in my normal UK size. Definitely get a little bit more room in the toes, and the Superblast feels a little bit more relaxed fit in general, but I was very happy in my normal size. On to the run test. Let's start with the Superblast, Tom. You had this a long time before any of us, actually, and now I've got it. I'm happy to talk about it because I was a bit jealous that I didn't get to run in it because you were very excited about it from the start.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I got it so much earlier than anyone else. Well, you're the only other person who's got it at the Run Testers, but because I got it so much earlier, I really liked it when I first started wearing it. I was quite surprised. I think you told me that it was worth getting in, or the people were talking about it quite a bit. So I didn't really know much about it when I got it, and I assumed it would probably just be like the Nova Blast or something. But I really enjoyed it from the off. It's a really interesting shoe when you first start wearing it because it doesn't feel like you'd expect, and it doesn't feel like many other shoes either. It's just a lovely shoe to wear for all different types of runs. I think that when I started running in it, I thought it was like a speed shoe, so I was using it for like faster runs, tempo runs. But then for easy runs, it felt great as well. And it's just does them all, I think. It's just a really great, comfortable all-rounder. And I think I mentioned it to you the other day where it doesn't have a plate in it, but it feels like there's more to this shoe. Like it should have a plate in. There's a nice bit of rigidity to the midsole, and there's a nice bit of pop in it. Yeah, I really enjoy this shoe. I actually put it down, I don't know, about March because we had a load of other shoes to test, and I was doing a marathon stuff. And only recently, now you've got it again. I picked it up again? I've just been out for running it, and yeah, really enjoying it. I think it's just a really fluid, enjoyable cruiser that can do quite a lot of stuff. And I really like the FF Turbo midsole foam as well.
Yeah, I agree. I really love this shoe as well. Like I told you when I got it in, I was so excited, and I actually couldn't use it for a while because we had a few other shoes for embargoes I had to test first. So I was just walking around in it, looking forward to running in it, and it didn't disappoint. It's got an amazing midsole. Like the FF Turbo Foam, we haven't really tried on anything outside the Metaspeed, series racing shoes, and it feels different in the shoes. It's bigger, it feels a bit softer because it hasn't got the plate, a bit bouncier, and like you say, it really can just do a little bit of everything. It's bizarrely light for its size, for one, and it feels almost like when everyone was raving around the Nova Blast, and we didn't really like it that much. This feels like what people were saying about the Nova Blast in a way. It's like it's really bouncy, it's really fun, it's really stable because it's such a big shoe with so much width. It is a huge shoe, actually. We were just talking about this before we started. It's so much bigger than the Hoka Mach X in similar size, same size in the UK, but it's just a lot going on with that big heel bevel, so much foam underfoot, but it can really move. Like I took it down the track and did some 800-meter reps in it, and you're running really quick. You don't feel like you don't really have any ground feel, but you can run very fast in it. I don't think that's what it's best at. It's certainly amazing more for long runs, tempo runs, daily training. But yeah, I really enjoy it for very easy runs. Probably my favorite runs in it are just long runs, either with like a progression pace to them or just relaxed long runs. You just tick over really nicely. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's so much fun to use all around. Now the Mach X, now this is a shoe that we were also really, really excited about before using it. Probably hasn't quite lived up to that excitement for me, but how have you found it, Tom?
Well, I think it was sort of the opposite for me because when I got the Superblast, I wasn't really expecting a lot. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know what it was for. But when the Hoka Mach X was first mentioned, I think all of us went, "Wow, we've been banging on about the Mach 5 for so long and the Mach 4. Hoka Mach X with a calm plate in. This is going to be something special. A Pebax plate." So I think it just doesn't really. If you're excited about it because it's like the Hoka Mach 5 but better, it isn't the Hoka Mach 5 but better. It's a different sort of shoe. I don't think it's a bad shoe. I just think it's not really like a standout shoe. It's very nice cruiser. It's nice and comfortable to run in. It's the sort of shoe that you go out for a run, you pick it up, it's going to do the job. It does what you want it to. It just doesn't excel in any area. Where you've got something like the Saucony Endorphin Speed series, that shoe excels in a lot of areas. It's really fast. It's really comfortable. It's just a great all rounder. I don't think this really does anything exceptional. It's just a solid shoe that sort of sits in the middle of daily shoes and a little bit faster. But how did you find it?
Yeah, I was obviously super excited about it. Great colours, great heritage with the Hoka Mach line. Good foams and everything. And the first run out of the box, I really enjoyed it. Like I did a progression run, and I thought, yeah, it feels pretty good at all those paces. And I was looking forward to trying other runs and thinking it's going to feel great for everything. And it actually just kind of left it there. Like it felt pretty good for the paces I did on those runs. It was decent at an easy pace, decent at a steadier pace. Didn't really like it when I actually pushed to really fast runs. I thought it was good, but just not great compared to the rivals mentioning like the Endorphin Speed. I think it's a better shoe for cruising around in, probably better for long runs. It's comfortable, it's stable, but it lacks the wow factor that I don't think the foams and the plate underfoot really feel that amazing. They're not that soft and bouncy. There's a good rocker to it, but yeah, it just does lack a little bit, I think, for what I'd expect. It didn't actually feel very different to just normal, trainers. Like this is the whole thing with super trainers is you're paying a lot of money for a daily trainer that's got something about it that makes it a little bit better than the normal daily trainers you could buy for a lot less. And I found with the Mach X that I didn't really get a whole load extra from it compared to some of the standard daily trainers. So while I liked it, and I think actually it's risen in my estimations since I tested it, because since then we've tested a couple of super trainers we didn't like at all, like the Convara Pro and the New Balance SC Trainer, which do a similar job to the Mach X in that they're geared more towards daily training, but I think the Mach X is a more enjoyable shoe to run in than them. It still, I think, suffers by comparison to the best super trainers on the market, and it doesn't really stand out in the way that the Superblast does. It just, when you pull the Superblast on, it feels like something different. It feels really exciting. You're spending a lot of money, but you are getting a really fun shoe that can do loads of stuff. And with the Mach X, it feels like, I've pulled on a good shoe here, but I don't think I've pulled on anything particularly special, and I'm not sure I'm paying super trainer prices for it.
Yes, I'd agree. Yeah, it's not the sort of shoe that I look at my cupboard of dozens of shoes, and like tonight I went out for a run. It was just an easy run. It was not a bad pace for me, but I wasn't really going out for it. I saw the Superblast, thought I want to put that on. Saw the Mach X, didn't even cross my mind. I didn't think I'm going to put that one on tonight. So yeah, it's just not a shoe that I think really impresses in any way. But it's fine. Every time I've worn it, it's gonna be completely fine. I just, for the price, I'm not reaching for it.
Yeah, I think it's just a good shoe. It's just a really good shoe, and that kind of isn't enough, I think, in this category, really, when there's already really good shoes from Hoka that are like the Mach 5 as a more normal shoe. Right, into the verdict. I think we've probably made it quite clear which way we're going to go here. Tom, which would you pick out of these two shoes?
Yeah, Superblast, obviously. I think Superblast is just more enjoyable. It's just a great shoe to pick up. I think it's more versatile. I think it just has a lot more going for it. I love the foam. I think that foam is where the magic happens. It's just you don't get a lot of foams like this. I don't think it feels soft, but not too soft, and it's really got a really nice bitey bounce back to it as well, which I really enjoy about this shoe. And you just get something from this shoe. Sometimes you wear a shoe and you remember the experience that you have in that shoe. I get it from the Superblast. I can look back on the times I've run out and go, I remember how that feels. Whereas I think the Mach X is just fine. Just sort of does the job. I don't really notice anything about it. I don't really think there's like an experience from it that is noticeable. I think if you bought a pair of these, you would be happy. I don't think you'd be annoyed that you bought them. But also, if you tried a few other super trainers, I think you'd probably go, I wish I'd bought that other one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a price difference to consider here, but the Superblast, I think, is merits its price tag in a way. Like, it's a really, really good shoe. It's really versatile. You spend a lot of money on it, but it's pretty hard wearing, and it's going to replace probably two shoes in your rotation because it can do so much stuff, and it's really enjoyable to run in. Now, obviously, the Mach X is a bit cheaper. Maybe it's a slightly more normal shoe that more people get on with. I don't know, but I don't really see any area of performance that I really prefer the Mach X to the Superblast. Even with the plate, I feel like the Superblast has got the similar levels of pace for fast runs. The Mach X is just a little bit cheaper. If you're really just going on money, then there's other shoes I'd be getting instead of the Mach X for the same price, things like the Endorphin Speed. And I think the Superblast is worth a little bit extra. It's a shoe I'm desperate to start popping up in sales, basically, because having now tested it and loved it, the only thing that really holds me back from really saying, yeah, it's a great shoe, everyone should be whacking it in my rotation, is the fact that it is 200 quid for what is a phenomenal daily trainer, but still is a daily trainer. And usually I say save your money on those so you can spend them on carbon shoes. But yeah, in this case, I would be paying the extra to get the Superblast. It's just a real experience, like you say.
When I was out on my run earlier, I was thinking, I got a fear that the same thing will happen with the Superblast as it did with the Novablast. And I liked the first Novablast quite a lot. That they're going to make some changes in the second one and it's going to lose that, why everyone liked it so much.
It does have an element of Novablast. Novablast was like a real surprise hit for Asics. Like, they weren't really talking to press about it, dishing out samples, trying to get a load of hype around it. It was really successful. And then the Superblast was kind of the same. It was quite hard to get a pair into review and discuss it, because we all work for outlets outside of the run testers, and it wasn't really happening. And I think now maybe there was a bit of an undersupply as well, which probably helped get the hype going. And now they've come out pushing it a lot more, I think, because they realise they've got a big hit on their hands. So hopefully they don't change loads about it, or just leave it. We don't need to refresh shoes every year. Some more colours, because this is a really good colour, actually. Some of the early ones weren't great. So that's a comparison of the Hoka Mach X and the Asics Superblast. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like, subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.